Welcome dear viewers, you're still watching us on ERi-TV, presenting you the domestic and international news prepared for this session, live from our headquarters in Asmara. Is me, Hermel Lagermay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. International Women's Day celebration in Gash, Barka. Public diplomacy activities by Diaspora nationals. US pauses intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And Israel set to approve over 1,000 additional settlement units in occupied East Jerusalem. In our detailed domestic news, International Women's Day was colorfully celebrated at the Gash Barka regional level in the Gonyi subzone on 5th March under the theme Women Emancipation for All-Rounded Development. The event featured a march by women members of the defense forces, students, and the public, as well as cultural and artistic performances. Mrs. Yihdega Yohannes, head of the National Union of Eritrean Women in the region, stated that this year's celebration is particularly significant as it coincides with Eritrea's transition to a new phase of development. She also urged women to actively participate in national development programs and benefit from available opportunities. Heads from the National Confederation of Eritrean Workers and the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students delivered messages of solidarity. They emphasized that women's issues should not be left solely to the National Union of Eritrean Women and called on all relevant institutions to take concrete steps toward women's empowerment. Ambassador Mahmoud Ali Hirui, governor of the region, encouraged women and other members of society to work together in enhancing women's capacities and ensuring their benefit from all available opportunities. In other news, Eritrean nationals in the Netherlands and Saudi Arabia have conducted various public diplomacy activities. Mr. Nagasi Kassa, Eritrea's ambassador to the European Union and Benelux countries, held seminars for nationals in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, the Netherlands. His discussions focused on educational progress in Eritrea and the role of the Eritrean diaspora in national affairs, highlighting that the Eritrean people and its defense forces are actively engaged in national development programs while ensuring peace through resilience. Mr. Nagasi reiterated Eritrea's steadfast position that neighboring countries should resolve their own challenges by their own. He also outlined the progress made in the education sector and urged nationals to contribute to addressing existing limitations. Participants engaged in extensive discussions and collectively contributed 63,000 euros toward the construction of a school in Fort Osawa. Meanwhile, Mr. Ahmed Ja'far, head of the Public and Community Affairs at the Eritrean Embassy in Saudi Arabia, conducted seminars for nationals in southern Saudi Arabia from 12th to 24th February. The seminars held in Kamus Mushait, Jazan, Ainamas, and Ad-Dair focused on strengthening organizational capacity and on consular services for nationals. Similarly, Eritrean nationals in Kuwait celebrated International Women's Day on 8th March under the theme Women Emancipation for All-Rounded Development. Mrs. Mileta Tsega, chairperson of the National Union of Eritrean Women in Kuwait, called on women to strengthen their organizational capacity and enhance participation in national affairs. Mr. Hamed Yahya, charged the affairs at the Eritrean Embassy, emphasized the significant role for Eritrean women in the struggle for national independence and encouraged Eritrean women in Kuwait to increase their participation in national matters. In other news, residents of Injihai administrative area, Tesane subzone, are actively engaged in a water and soil conservation campaign. According to Mr. Mohammed Kher Ismail, administrator of the area, over 400 residents are participating daily in the campaign. He commended their strong commitment and participation in the initiative. In other news, the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch in Gash Barka region rehabilitated disadvantaged citizens in Karkabet subzone with livestock worth 10,000 each. Mr. Idris Ibrahim, a representative of the ministry's branch office, stated that the beneficiaries were selected from the administrative areas of Himbol Kachech, Yakari, Hamish Bedan, and Amalite based on recommendations from their respective area administrations. The beneficiaries expressed their gratitude for the support and affirmed their commitment to working hard to improve their livelihoods. Dear viewers, do stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. The future of U.S. support for Ukraine is being pushed further into depth that the U.S. has paused intelligence sharing with Ukraine. The U.S. has shared intelligence with Ukraine since the early stages of the war with Russia. According to officials, it's believed that after coming of President Donald Trump, the relations of United States of America is not as it used to be before. President Donald Trump stated that the war should terminate with negotiation and decided that his country will no longer share intelligence with Ukraine. Meanwhile, he is requesting to pay back the $350 billion sent to Ukraine on the previous leadership moments of President Joe Biden. In our final international news, Israeli authorities approved yesterday the construction of over 1,000 additional settlement units in occupied East Jerusalem. The process of the construction of these additional settlements will be started in near future, according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sites are explaining that this program is increasing the tension on the western coastal areas. Israel had put over 700,000 citizens settled in the western coastals, which occupied in 1967, according to the reports. This illegal construction is one of the main causes of the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now a quick recap of the major headlines. International Women's Day celebration in Gash, Barka. Public diplomacy activities by Diaspora nationals. US pauses intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And Israel said to approve over 1,000 additional settlement units in occupied East Jerusalem. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for joining us and have a blessed one.